Section 1. London PHV Driver Licensing. To work as a London PHV driver, you will need to be licensed by TfL. Only then can you carry out bookings for a London private hire operator that is also licensed by TfL. When you get your licence to work as a London PHV driver, there are rules and policies that you need to know about. This section sets out some of these rules and policies and explains what you need to do. Licensing requirements. To get a licence, you must be aged 21 or over when you apply for your licence. There is no upper age limit. You must have a full DVLA, Northern Ireland, European Union or European Economic Area state driving licence that's at least 3 years old. You must have the right to live and work in the UK. You must be a fit and proper person to hold a licence. You'll need to have an enhanced criminal records check done by the Disclosure and Barring Service, known as the DBS. You must be physically fit. This will mean that you will need to have a medical examination with a doctor who has access to your medical records. The medical requirements are the DVLA Group 2 medical standard. You'll need to take a separate test to check your ability to select and plan a route, read a map and identify locations. The test is held in a centre approved by TfL and conducted under exam conditions by a TfL examiner. This test is known as a topographical skills assessment. You'll need to prove that you have at least a B1 level of ability in the English language. B1 is a level of English in the Common European Framework of Reference for Languages, or the CEFR. To prove your English language speaking and listening skills, you will need to take a test. The test is held in a TfL building and conducted under exam conditions. Your English language reading and writing skills will be derived from the Safety, Equality and Regulatory Understanding Assessment. If your application is approved, TfL will send you a London PHV driver's licence. Your licence may have some conditions attached to it. For example, if you have a medical condition, you may be required to have extra medical checks. Any conditions added to your licence will be explained in the letter sent to you with your licence. It's very important that you keep that letter and comply with any conditions that come with your licence. If you do not, then your licence may be revoked. As soon as you are licensed, it's important that you keep in contact with us and respond to any letters, emails or other forms of communication. Your London PHV driver's licence normally lasts for 3 years. If it's for a shorter period, the letter that comes with the licence will explain why. You should keep your licence at home in a safe place and give a copy of it to any licensed private hire operators you are working with. The PHV operators you work with must keep copies of your PHV driver's licence and your valid driving licence. If a police officer or TfL authorised officer asks to see your licence, you must let them see it there and then, or within a maximum of 7 days. The letter that comes with your licence contains important information about your responsibilities as a London PHV driver, including any conditions you must meet. It's important that you read this letter carefully and make sure you understand it. If there are conditions on your licence which require you to provide TfL with information, for example if you need to provide further medical information, then TfL may write to you to remind you that that information is needed. Your PHV driver's badge displays your name, photograph, licence number and the date your licence period ends. Remember, your operator must give passengers your name, photograph and vehicle details. This means that passengers can check this information against your badge. When you get your licence, you will also receive a PHV driver's badge, also known as photographic ID. You must always wear this badge when you are working as a PHV driver. You must wear your badge whenever you are working as a PHV driver, including when you are waiting to receive a booking or travelling to pick up a passenger. When you wear it, you must make sure that it can be clearly seen by other people. This applies to all PHV drivers unless we have given you special permission not to. This is called an exemption. If we give you an exemption, we will send you an exemption notice. You must always carry that notice with you when you work as a PHV driver. If a passenger asks for your licence number, you should let them see your badge so that they can write the number down. The badge includes text in Braille, which means a visually impaired person can know that you are licensed. Remember, the badge is for you to use only. You must not allow any other person to use it to carry out bookings. If you lose your PHV driver's badge or licence, or somebody steals it, report it immediately to TfL. If your badge has been stolen, you should also report it to the police and get a crime reference number from them. Without your badge, you cannot continue working as a PHV driver. TfL will replace your lost or stolen badge or licence. However, if you then find your original badge or licence, you must return it to TfL. Your badge and licence are always the property of TfL, including when they have passed their expiry date. You must return them when they pass the expiry date or when you are no longer licensed. To get your licence to be a PHV driver, you must be medically fit. The standards you must meet are the DVLA Group 2 medical standards. In most cases, this will mean that you will need to have a medical examination with somebody, i.e. a doctor, who has access to your full medical records. You may be exempt from supplying a medical form if you have a full or provisional DVLA Group 2 licence that was issued after January 1997, if you have a current London taxi driver's licence, or you have a valid current pilot's licence issued by the Joint Aviation Authorities. TfL will remind you when a medical examination is due and send you the form that you need. You are responsible for making sure that a doctor completes the form with all the required information about your health and for returning the form to TfL. If you have an existing medical condition, extra medical examinations may be needed. If you do not send TfL all the necessary information, you might not get your licence. From the age of 45, PHV drivers must have a medical examination each time they apply to renew their licence. From the age of 65, PHV drivers must have a medical examination every year. You should tell TfL immediately if, between medical examinations, you develop a new medical condition that may affect your ability to drive. Some examples of medical conditions you should let TfL know about include diabetes, epilepsy, poor eyesight or other eye conditions affecting sight, heart conditions, high blood pressure, neurological conditions including strokes, prescription medication that may affect your ability to drive, psychiatric illness, any condition which the DVLA requires you to report. If you are not sure whether to tell TfL, you should contact TfL for advice. The DVLA frequently updates its medical standards, so TfL recommends that you check with the DVLA if you develop any new medical condition. Change of address. It's important that TfL has your correct home address and email address so that you can be contacted with any information about your licence. If you change your home address, you should tell TfL within 21 days. You should also tell us about any change to your email address or telephone number. This is important so TfL can keep you informed of any changes to the regulations to do with how PHVs and PHV drivers are licensed, as well as news and events that could affect your job. You are also required by law to tell the DVLA if you change your address. You will then get a new driving licence with your new address on it. Details of how to do this are on the back of your DVLA licence. The address on your PHV driver's licence should be the same as the address on your DVLA licence. Remember, if you change your home address, you should tell TfL within 21 days and tell the DVLA. Other changes in personal circumstances. As a licensed London PHV driver, you must tell TfL immediately if your personal circumstances change. This includes if you have broken the law and have been disqualified from driving. Please note that you will also have to return your London PHV driver's licence and badge to TfL. If you are the subject of a mental health order or sexual offences order. if you are on either the adults or children's barred lists. You must tell TfL immediately if you are arrested, charged with, convicted or cautioned for any crime. This includes any fixed penalty notices or road traffic offences that result in penalty points on your driving licence. You are responsible for telling TfL about any offences you have committed. Don't rely on the police informing TfL. If you fail to tell TfL about a conviction, you could have your licence revoked. You do not need to tell TfL about any other penalty charge notices or PCNs or parking tickets that do not result in penalty points on your driving licence. However, if TfL becomes aware that you are getting frequent PCNs and or parking tickets, TfL may take licensing action against you. This is because TfL expects all licensed drivers to behave responsibly. The right to live and work in the United Kingdom. If there are restrictions on a driver's right to live and work in the UK, TfL will add an appropriate condition on the licence. If you are in this situation, you should make sure you comply with these conditions and make sure you have a continuing right to work. If you are in the UK on a student visa, you will only be allowed to work for a limited number of hours each week, and you will not be allowed to be self-employed. Complaints. If TfL receives a complaint about you, or becomes aware of any behaviour that is not satisfactory, TfL may write to you with the details and ask you for your comments. It's important that you respond to TfL's request. TfL can only make licensing decisions based on the information received. Suspending or revoking a PHV driver's licence. If for any reason your licence is revoked, you must return your licence to TfL within 7 days. If you do not, or your licence has been suspended or revoked with immediate effect, TfL may send an authorised officer to take it from you. Revoking a driver's private hire vehicle licence. If your PHV driver's licence is suspended or revoked, and you are the owner of a licensed private hire vehicle, TfL may make the decision to revoke the vehicle licence as well. TfL will consider doing this if there is any risk to public safety. For example, if there is evidence that the vehicle could be used as a PHV by somebody without a PHV driver licence, or if a driver has been charged with or convicted of a serious violent or sexual offence. Disclosure and Barring Service, or DBS. As part of the application process, you must have an enhanced criminal records check from the Disclosure and Barring Service. The DBS is a public body that checks on people's backgrounds. The checks will show any convictions, cautions, reprimands and final warnings that you've had. The checks will also show if the local police have any information that is relevant to you working as a PHV driver, and if you are on the list of people who are prevented from working with vulnerable groups. TfL uses a separate company to arrange DBS checks for applicants. You must use this company to get your DBS certificate. Further details are on the TfL website. Knowledge check. What information has the section on? The next video takes you through section 2 of the online assessment guide.